Dino and Doggie, the rescue team. There once was a very friendly dinosaur named Dino. He was very good friends with a brown lab named Doggie. Both Dino and Doggie loved to go on adventures with each other. They were both very helpful as well. One day, they were talking with their friends, Squirrel and Raccoon, about what they were going to dress up as for Halloween that year. Well, this year I'm going to dress up as an acorn. I think it would be really funny to see a squirrel as the food that they love to eat. Well, I have no idea what I want to be for Halloween. Dino, Doggie, what are you guys going as this year? Dino and Doggie looked at each other, and then looked back at their friends with the biggest grins on their faces. Well, after much thought, we decided that we are going to go as pirates. Yeah, we already have the costumes picked out too. They're going to look awesome. The group of friends sat around and thought about what Raccoon could go as this year to the Halloween party. Pretty soon it was getting close to lunchtime, and Raccoon had to go home for lunch. So, before the group left, they planned to meet back up that afternoon. Let's meet back up at the beach and play some sand volleyball, and we can throw a ball back and forth for a while too. That sounds like a good idea, Dino. Is it okay with you, Squirrel and Raccoon? Yeah, that sounds like a fun afternoon. I can't wait. I'm okay with it. What time do you guys want to meet back up at the beach at? Let's meet at the end of town, around 3 o'clock. Everyone in the group agreed with the time and where to meet, so they went their separate ways for lunch and to change into beach clothes. Hey, Doggie, I'll meet you at the end of the street after we change, at the normal meeting spot. Yeah, that sounds good, Dino. See you in a couple minutes. Both Dino and Doggie got changed and met back up at their meeting spot at the end of the street. I think it would be cool to walk through the town and see all the Halloween decorations, and then we can get some lunch at the cafe in town also. I think that's a great idea, Doggie. Let's go. So Dino and Doggie set off for town. Everyone was busy shuffling around, putting up last-minute decorations outside their stores for the town's annual Halloween festival. The town threw a huge Halloween party every year, and each shop decorated their windows and handed out candy to all the children the night of Halloween. Hey, Doggie, look at Mrs. Badger. It looks like she has lost something. Yeah, Dino, it does look like that. I wonder if she needs help. Hey, Mrs. Badger, are you okay? Oh, hello, boys. And no, I'm not doing the greatest. I seem to have lost my wedding ring, which is not good because me and Mr. Badger have been married for almost 45 years. Oh, no. Well, me and Doggie will help you look for it, Mrs. Badger. Yeah, me and Dino are great at finding things. We will help. No worries, Mrs. Badger. Thank you, boys, so much. I don't even know where to begin looking for it. Well, where was the last place you remember being? I just came from Miss Monkey's coffee shop. Well, let's go there now. When the trio arrived at Miss Monkey's coffee shop, Dino and Doggie started looking everywhere, while Mrs. Badger went and explained to Miss Monkey what was happening. Doggie, have you found it yet? Nope, nothing over by the soda machines. What about you, Dino? No, nothing over by the couches either. So they went outside to Mrs. Badger and told her the news. Her ring was not at the coffee shop. Where else are we going to look? Where else were you this morning, Mrs. Badger? Well, I also went by Mrs. Fox's flower shop to get some new flowers for my house. Well, off to Mr. Fox's flower shop then. So off they set to Mr. Fox's flower shop. Once the trio got there, they went through the same thing the boys went to. They went through the same thing. The boys went to look, and Mrs. Badger explained what they were doing to Mr. Fox. Hey, Dino, finding it? No, Mrs. Badger's ring is not in this flower shop either. Yeah, I couldn't find it either. I guess we go to the next place she went this morning, and hopefully it's there. So out went Dino and Doggie to tell Mrs. Badger that they once again couldn't find her wedding ring. The boys were starting to get sad and starting to lose hope that they would find her ring. Mrs. Badger, where else did you go this morning? Well, the last place I went this morning was to Mr. Bear's bread shop. So the trio, Mrs. Badger, Dino, and Doggie, took off to Mr. Bear's bread shop at the end of town to see if they could find Mrs. Badger's wedding ring there. When they got to the shop, Mr. Bear came up to all three of them. I have heard that you've lost your wedding ring, Mrs. Badger. I'm really sorry. You can take a look around my shop if you would like before I close up for the night. Thank you so much, Mr. Bear. I think that Dino and Doggie are going to take a look around. Nothing over here, Dino. Are you finding anything? Nope, nothing, Doggie. What are we going to tell Mrs. Badger? I was really hoping that our ring would be here. Yeah, me too, Dino. Me too. So the pair went to tell Mrs. Badger that they still hadn't found her wedding ring. Well, Mrs. Badger, we couldn't find your wedding ring here either. Did you go anywhere else this morning? I didn't go anywhere else in town, but I haven't checked my house yet. So the trio left Mr. Bear's bread shop and headed to Mrs. Badger's house to check for her wedding ring there. When they arrived at Mrs. Badger's house, Dino and Doggie went in to start searching. Dino took the upstairs and Doggie took the downstairs. Suddenly, Mrs. Badger heard a very loud scream. Mrs. Badger went running into the stairs and down ran Dino. Mrs. Badger! Mrs. Badger! Mrs. Badger! Dino, what is the matter? I found your ring! It was in the bathroom upstairs! Wow, great job, Dino! Oh my goodness, Dino, thank you so much! I must have taken it off when I was getting ready this morning and forgotten to put it back on when I was done. I'm forgetting so much lately. Thank you, boys, so much for helping me find my wedding ring. I don't know how I could ever repay you. No worries, Mrs. Badger. We love to help people when they have the chance. Yeah, we're just happy to help, Mrs. Badger. No, at least let me get you boys some cake. Come into the kitchen. So into the kitchen the boys went with Mrs. Badger to grab some goodies before they took off. After the boys had both gotten some goodies, they decided that they'd best take off for the beach to play with their friends. And when they got to the beach and saw their friends, Dino and Doggie went running. Hey, where have you two been? Yeah, we've been worried about you two. So while the group of friends played catch back and forth with each other, they retold the story of Dino and Doggie, the rescue team, to both Squirrel and Raccoon. Wow, Mrs. Badger was sure lucky that you two came walking down the street when you guys did. She might not have found her wedding ring for a while. Yeah, and I bet that Mr. Badger would not have been very happy, so way to save the day, you guys. We were just happy to help Mrs. Badger find her wedding ring. It was nothing. You guys would have done the same thing. Yeah, well, it's getting late, and I have to be home soon, so I'll see you guys at the Halloween party, okay? Everyone agreed that they would meet up at the Halloween party to see each other's costumes. After that, they all headed home to get some sleep. It had been a long day. It was finally time for the Halloween party, and the group of friends were so excited to get to put their costumes on and to get as much candy as they could. They decided that day at school to meet at the corner of Dino and Doggie Street. Hey, there comes Raccoon and Squirrel. They look great. Yeah, they do look great. I love the acorn costume. It looks awesome. Wow, you guys look great in your pirate costumes. They look so real. Where'd you guys get your costumes? Jamaica? Dino and Doggie looked at each other and smiled. We actually met real pirates. What? You met real pirates? When did you guys do that? Well, guys, that's another story for another time. Yeah, it's a great one. Dino and Doggie helped the lost pirates. The group of friends walked through the town collecting all the candy that they could. And Squirrel and Raccoon tried to get Dino and Doggie to tell them about their great adventures, but they wouldn't say a thing.